we know what a skill is. Now we're going to create a skill. This is lesson 2. You're going to write your first skill, and I promise it takes about 15 minutes. So every skill file has 3 parts. 1, the name, short, lowercase, no spaces in between. A description, which is the trigger, and the instructions, which is everything else. The description is the most important line in the file, so let me show you the difference. So weak description, for example, is helps with testimonials. What does that even mean? Like, what kind of testimonials, who for, why are we doing this? All the context, purpose, the why is missing. That will almost never trigger because the AI doesn't know why it's going to be using it. A strong description says collects testimonials and referrals from happy clients. Use whenever I finish a project, mention a happy client, or want a Google review. See what happened there? It names the exact situation. So it's like the context, why you're doing it is super key. Claude errs on the side of not using skills, so be generous with those trigger phrases. Make it very clear for Claude to do it, so you don't have to actually ask for it explicitly. Of course, you can explicitly invoke a skill, and I'll show you how to do that, but you want Claude to inherently know that it should be using that skill, and you do that by giving it enough context. So there are 2 ways to create a skill. I'll teach you the one I actually use. I make Claude write it. You open Claude and describe your process out loud, as messy as you like, how you do the thing, what you always forget, what good looks like, and then you say, turn everything I just described into a skill, write the file and install it in my skills folder. That's how I do it for my content creation. My content creation is so complex. It comes from so many places. Like, I don't like to just copy other people's content, which is like what a lot of people will tell you to do. Oh, this works, go and copy it. I don't like that. I get inspiration from many different places. My content skill is forever evolving. So I will do this exercise of let's go through this process together, think through it, and now create a skill. Okay, we work through this content process together. Now create a skill with everything that is important in this process and that you need to run this correctly next time. So that's how you start from scratch if you don't already have a skill that exists. Claude will interview you, write it, and save it. Your job is to read the draft and correct anything wrong, exactly like reviewing a new employee's first draft. 3 mistakes to avoid. First, making it too long, too big, more than like 200 lines. At some point, the AI is not going to continue reading. It's going to lose, the context will become too big. So we want to manage context always with token usage, AI hallucinating, giving us quality responses. That's always a goal of ours, no matter what we do with AI. If you have 200 lines of like specifications, it's too long. Something around 100 lines max is probably ideal. So saying run my whole marketing is not a skill, it's a department. That's a good one, actually. If I say just run my content has so many layers, it's going to be confused. Like, it's going to miss things because ask it a thing at a time. That's how you should build a skill. So within content creation, I should have multiple skills. One is for my YouTube, one is for captions, one is for LinkedIn, and so on. So one process, one skill. Second, vague descriptions are no good. Again, we covered the what to do, what not to do there. And third, no output format. Like, how do you want to see it come back to you? That is such a big deal. Like, it's something that we take for granted because we're used to receiving, things a certain way. But again, AI has no memory. It doesn't know what we like. So unless we tell it the format in which we want it, it's not going to know. This seems like so basic, but I will say it's one of the biggest game changers is once you start defining format and how you want to see things come out. And one more habit from day 1, read every skill before you install it, even the ones I give you. A skill is instructions your AI will follow. You should know what it says the same way you'd read a contract before signing. So your homework is to pick one task you've done at least 10 times, describe it to Claude, and say, turn this into a skill. Now, let me show you in Cowork what that looks like. And there's a skill called the Skill Creator that you can use to create skills. Or you should be able to see my Claude desktop. One thing you want to do from day 1 when you start using Claude is go to Customize in the desktop. If you're using the desktop and not Claude Code here, you go and you'll see in Customize, we have skills. Right? I have proposal writer, sales leads, canvas design, skill creator, etc. Now, the one we're going to use today is skill creator because it's going to help you create your own skill. I have it installed. If not, if you don't have it installed, you go to browse. Here it is. And then add it on. I have it already, so I don't need to do that, but make sure it's turned on. And you see here where it does, all the skills are already coming built in to Claude here in the desktop, you can see what they do, a skill for creating new skills and iteratively improving them. So now I'm going to run this in the chat because I already have it installed. And always skills / that's how you invoke them if you know what they're called. So I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I could have just said run skill creator without the / and it would have done the same thing. So I'm going to do this as an example so you can see what it looks like. And you can do the same thing in Claude Code. So while this is working, if you use Visual Studio Code, which I recommend, your end goal is to live in Claude Code. This is where you maximize your usage tokens, and in something like Visual Studio Code or in Anti-Gravity. So let's do skill creator here. There we go, skill creator. So I'm running it here. No different. This is a desktop. Let's go back. So what's your ideal morning briefing? It's going to ask you all these questions, so you have to answer them. Let's pick all of them. And you can add more. How do you want this delivered? Chat summary, Google Calendar, Gmail, and now it's creating the skill. Of course, this is very little detail. I would add a lot more detail to my skill, like what are my priorities, etc., but just to show you how it works. And if I go to Visual Studio Code, again, here, what would you like to do with Skill Creator? Create a new skill, improve an existing skill, let's say create a new skill, and you continue from there. So that's it. Use this as homework. Do your own skill from scratch. Claude will hold your hand throughout it. Give a try to your homework, create a skill with something that you do all the time that you want AI to take off your plate, but you want it done your way. And give it examples. That's another thing you can give in skills, example output, so it knows what to refer to. Examples always win it with AI, so give it a try and let me know in the comments how it's going, what you've done, what kind of skill you created, how much time you've saved.